Welcome back, YouTube, fellow berserkers. It's been quite a long time since I've made my last workshop video and Viking video especially. There's been a lot going on around my area here at work, at home, at the camp. It's been too busy to film, and half the time the weather was absolutely not cooperating. I've been having nothing but rain and storm for the last month and a half, 2 months now. Really, it was difficult to do any filming outside. We had maybe 1 or 2 really nice days in between, which helped me take care of the bees and the Viking field. Been working on that most of my time off camera. It's really difficult to film and work and get both things done, so I have to get the work done, and then I can follow up with a quick short video on how I did it and what the result was, and I will share all that with you. But today I have a small project I would like to introduce to you, and we're going to be building a Viking inspired treasure chest, kind of. That's the idea behind it. It's going to be a 6-board chest. It's off the basic design that I usually make, except it's going to be a couple sizes smaller, and about this measurement about right here. I haven't quite figured out the exact size yet. I'm going to do that, play that by feel once I start to unpack all the boards, and I'll have to make some rough dimensions and work around those. Since the Viking box building style they didn't have measuring tapes, they split the boards out of the tree stump, and they used those boards to make a box. So they used what they had. They didn't go out and measure, I need boards this long. They had a tree, they split the boards, and they used the widest 2 boards for the sides and the lid, one for the lid, and then they used the narrower boards for the sides and so on. And that's kind of how we're going to do this here. We're going to play this by feel. We're gonna get these boards all. These are just simple Home Depot, simple boards, nothing too fancy, but they're 2 centimeters thick, so they're pretty strong. It'll be a really nice, strong little chest to keep some valuables in. I'll have a little hasp on the front of it. I have some leftovers from some projects, but for building chests that I have a bunch of supplies left over, we're gonna recycle those into this project right here, and it's gonna turn out really nice. I'm gonna actually make it look something very unique, as this is a very special gift for one of my good friends, and it's going to be going out in the mail here after I get it done. So stay tuned with me and see what the end product is. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. Really excited to be back on track here, starting out with the springtime weather and lots of projects. I have a new project coming up. I'm going to build myself a new throne. My old one kind of started to fall apart, so I'm going to use those boards as a stencil. That'll be another project for another day. So, well, let's get with it so that we can get this done. So I spent a couple of minutes now marking out the boards and deciding on what size to make this box. I've decided to go by a design that's about 30 by 40 centimeters, so 30 tall by 40 wide, and that makes a nice size. Got the floor marked out right here. 6 centimeters longer, so it's about 46 centimeters, because the boards are about 3 centimeters thick each, and when I go to put the side walls on, I'm going to have to sink. I'm going to make a dovetail here. I'm going to make a recession cut here and a mortise and tenon, so that's going to fit together on each side. So I'm going to have to add the thickness of at least one of these boards, and then it's going to be a test and fit process for each piece until all the parts fit nicely, and I'll glue and nail them together. Up here I have the lid. This piece has got a lot of knots in it, so I decided to discard that for this project, and I have actually only used 5 boards out of the 6, so we're going to put this one to the side for another project, or for a mistake, maybe if I make an oops. So I have a front and a back of the chest, front and back. I have the floor, which is slightly longer. That is a scrap piece. Then I have the left and the right side, and I cut them down now. These are 40 each, since I cut it right in the middle. 40 each, and since the box is only 30 tall, I have to take off 5 centimeters on each end, which is perfect because these ends are kind of, I don't know, the store kind of chewed these up. They were sitting in the store, they got mauled up somehow on the ends, which is perfect to cut these clean here. And then I have lid top and a spare piece there for later. Okay, well, let me get the camera set back up and we get all this cut out, and then we're going to mark out our mortise and tenon on the actual floor piece, and then we're going to measure out the height of the box of the boards to the side pieces, left and right. We're going to cut in the mortise for the floor. All right, I got everything marked out. I'm going to drill holes here in the corners so that I can get the saw in there to cut around the corners. So I'm going to go do that. Trying to be very accurate here. Test fit it. Kind of fits in there. We want it to fit very loosely since we're going to be tilting the sidewalls up, so we want to be able to have some play. Perfect fit. Awesome, we got some leeway there. Now I'm excited to see how this is going to look. Now, fits nicely. There's the cradle for the box. So I was able to glue the boards together, get them all, do some sanding to even out some of the connection points. I had to fill in a little bit of the gaps with some special putty, and I went ahead and I used my chisel and textured the surface of the wood to make it look kind of really old and worn. So I'm not quite done finished with that touch yet. I gave it a rough work all the way around the box once. I started on the corners. I used some of the steel here, cut a piece off, and had to manually fit it to the edge using a wooden hammer. Shaped it perfectly, the contour of the box. Now I had to do that. That was very tricky, but I got it done. Now I've decided to go with copper nails for the fact that when I get to the point, I'm going to burn this chest dark and oil it with the oil I bought that's special, like almost like a red color. That's really going to bring out the copper tone with these. So these nails here will give it a really nice touch, and I can rivet the heads over. It'll look really, really nice with a ball peen hammer. I can finish that there. So since today's like still a holiday in Germany, I can't be banging on these nails too much, but I figured I'd fill in the video with what I've been able to do so far, and that is set this piece on there to test and see if that's actually the way I want it to look. So it looks really cool so far. I've been sealing up all the gaps on the inside so that this chest is going to be nice and sealed off. I'm going to give it an update when I get some of these metal pieces on. I'm going to film that, and then one whole day worth of work is going to be making the lid, like always. The lid is usually a full day of work on its own. I'm not even sure if I want to use this exact piece yet. This was the original rough draft cut of what I was going to use. I have some other pieces over here that are actually, look at that. I don't even have to cut much. I think I'm going to use that piece. Less waste material. And it has less knots in it than that other piece. I'll have to look. See, I have some other, of course I'm going to add some metal components to the lid of the box. I'm already liking how this is looking. This project's going to take another 4 weeks to complete. I'm doing this a little bit at a time on my spare time, alongside of like 5 other bigger projects. So this is going to be a continuation of, you know, an hour or 2 of work at a time. I probably could finish it if I worked on it 3 days straight in a row, but right now some other things are, I'm getting ready for the summer, and there's a lot of bad weather coming up this next week and a half, so I have to really do some preparations for that so that that doesn't ruin my plan. Now I've went ahead and I've almost completed the box. I've put the corner pieces on, riveted the nails down as far as possible, added the hinges, attached the lid. I also riveted the copper nails onto the lid. I burned the wood. I also used some stitching here with some metal clamps to keep the wood from splitting, where it was, the boards were kind of separating a little bit. So it gives the treasure chest a really antique look as well, which is really cool. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding beeswax to protect the wood so that it will be resistant against moisture, and so that it also will look really nice. So this beeswax is going to do an excellent job. Plus it's a natural product. I also added a coat of linseed oil to make sure that the wood doesn't dry out. I coated the inside and the outside, so this box should be ready to go. I've never done one with this much metal work in it, with the corners all decorated. That's pretty cool. I'm really proud of this. It looks really cool, and the detail on it. So this is the Viking treasure chest close up. As you see, I have copper rivets, which are really difficult to do because the wood, I had to make the lid 3 times. Every time I had the rivets started, the board would break. So I had to throw the board away, pry the rivets out, cut them, grind them off, whatever, and get a new piece of wood so that I could finish the box. And what this is actually, this is a real piece of board. The rest of these are Home Depot Leimholz. I don't know what they call that. They're glued together pieces to make a bigger board. I couldn't get any boards at this width, you know, on short notice that had that thickness, so I used those. I had some left over from a previous project, so I thought I'd saw them into size. The box ended up being slightly smaller than I intended it to, which is not a problem because this is a perfect size for a small treasure chest. This is for one person to put their belongings in and stow them away somewhere. That is awesome. I like it. I use these, what they call krampa. They're like double-ended nails. You can knock them in. So all of this is glued back together, but it still has a slight split here, which gives it some character. And I kind of like stapled it there and there and there. I put some extra ones in everywhere just so it looks cool. I'll put some in the lid up here. And it looks like it's 100 years old, which is really awesome. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed already, I'd like to kindly suggest that you subscribe to my channel. It helps out greatly trying to grow the channel, and every little bit helps. Click the subscribe button down below and the like button, and you'll get videos, notifications from YouTube every time I post a new video, letting you know that there's a video out there that I just posted. So like always, thank you for watching, stay safe, and see you soon.